They are far away.
That's really nice. That was great.
Yeah,
Nice
excellent.
job.
Wow,
Some
leatherback
beautiful-
turtles can dive to more than 1,000 meters.
Wow, really?
It's a lot deeper than I would have thought.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I knew they were like deep. I didn't know how much.
I guess the leatherbacks are the ones that eat jellyfish, I think.
They probably
So,
don't want to be near the ROV. They must.
No,
yeah,
probably.
They would swim away.
Yeah, but you would think that also from a sperm whale, and yet
True.
Very awesome.
wow, that was
Yeah.
really amazing.
I think we need to get back into
That's the biggest
position.
one
though.
I've ever seen.
So I think the ship is now in a good position to start moving uphill. So
Sure.
no, yeah. Yeah, I know.
What's the camera that's in template number 1 up there? Is that also
That
on the
is
pan tilt?
the silly. We added it last year. It's like we're calling it dash cam. It's there next to Argus's main Zeus camera.
Yeah.
So it's just if we had the Zeus zoomed in or something like that, we still
Right.
have that view.
And 6 is not on the pan tilt unit, right? 6 is fixed.
No, 6 is a fixed downward facing camera.
Right.
Okay, so once we have things in position in about 5 to 10 minutes, we will start moving at 40 degrees reading.
That
Yeah,
sounds
I
great.
I don't think it will take 5 minutes. It will take slightly less probably. Argus
That
is like
sounds
almost
great.
there.
Okay. Wow, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
What bearing are you going to take, Albert?
040.
Roger.
So Dwight and Sarah, you guys were saying before we got distracted by that awesome octopus, that when we're kind of looking at those manganese coat thickness, it tells us a bit about, a bit more about kind of the geology of the area. I think we got a little distracted. You guys could keep talking about that. That was really interesting.
Are you happy to start stepping?
Well, there's an interest from the geologic community who are interested in studying seamounts to look at how the rocks are affected by chemical reactions with seawater at different depths.
Right. Okay.
And there is a plan to allow more deep sea mining, and potentially seamounts are a target for deep sea mining exercises because they could collect these manganese-coated rocks and then extract the manganese from the rocks, or the iron, or the other copper and nickel and some other elements that might be a byproduct of those chemical reactions with the seawater. I'm looking at Sarah and she's nodding, so I may not have all my facts straight in this little dialogue, but there's interest from, like I said, from the community in understanding more about the nature of rocks on seamounts and how they may be a source for rare earth element minerals, and there may be in the future extraction of those minerals from seafloor crusts.
Yeah, and in areas of oxygen minimum zones, those rare earth metals, the iron, the manganese, become more chemically active in absence of oxygen, and so they tend to be more available to precipitate onto the rocks and form those crusts, and they also tend to make thicker crusts that are more dense in those iron compounds. And so when looking for areas to target, areas that have lower oxygen would have more bang for your buck if you think about it. You'd be able to get more off of it. And so it's kind of trying to find a balance of where you could most efficiently target that with the least impact to the biological communities around.
That's an interesting question to ask, is what's the follow-up? What would be the impact to this seamount extraction to the biological?
Yeah, so one of the big impacts that they've been finding is from disturbing the sediment. So you create these sediment plumes, and if you have been looking during these dives, there's not a ton of really high sedimentation rates in many of these areas, and so a lot of the animals are not used to high loads of sediment, and also many of these are living on the bottom, so they would be covered by that sediment. So that would be one of the biggest impacts that we've been seeing, as well as just like the direct removal of substrate. As we go along these sandy bottoms, you see that most of the life we're seeing are on these rocks, right? They're finding these hard substrates to live on. So if you remove those, then that's removing areas for animals to colonize.
Are these seamounts found in like the quote-unquote littoral areas that are more deep sea?
Well, they come pretty shallow, or even to the surface in some cases. And I mean, there's definitely some pretty coastal seamounts. I mean, Davidson is what?
Yeah, I would say Davidson's
40,
pretty
50
close to
miles or something.
I think it's about 40 or 50, yeah.
So with
that's off the coast of California.
So with these kind of sediment plumes, they change the pH or the chemical makeup of the water, and they affect the fish. And is that correct? So.
I don't know if you'd see so much a change in the pH or anything like that from a sediment plume, but it is a disturbance event similar to a landslide on land, right? Like if you can picture how you know, a hillside looks after there's been a landslide. Everything gets covered in the sediment. Things have a hard time growing, and a lot of these are filter feeders, so they need to be up in the water where they can move around and capture these sparse fragments going by. So if they're covered by sediment, then they can't do that.
I moved the camera up a fair bit, chasing the octopus around here.
So if these fish kind of lose their ability to get this nutrients from the water, then they die, and they die off, right? And then you have fish stock problems.
Yeah, so for the fish, the problem would be losing a food source. So it would be a bottom-up effect. So you'd have issues with the animals that are living on the seafloor, which are providing food sources for the larger animals swimming around. So then the fish, would have less food, and we could see that problem reflected.
There's also a lot of fish that use cold water coral communities and other stuff that we've been seeing as nursery grounds.
So this mineral extraction has the potential to have a pretty significant impact on the ocean ecology with a ripple effect. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, that's what a lot of ecologists, deep sea ecologists, are looking into now, is what that ripple effect would be, trying to quantify that. But as with any disturbance event, you do tend to have a ripple effect from the event itself. But the exact way that that would manifest is still being described.
And we've been talking a lot about the age of the corals. So deep sea corals grow really slowly. Some of them can be up to 4,000 or 5,000 years old. So you can imagine a coral community that gets wiped out by deep sea mining event is not going to recover in a year or two, right? It's going to be decades, even hundreds of years before that community comes back.
And that coming back would be with small, like at 100 years they would be small still, probably not.
They would be small, and I mean that even assumes that they are able to recruit from nearby sites that didn't get affected.
Yeah, and then with the corals being slow growing too, also these crusts that we're looking at mining and these nodules that we're looking at mining are also very slow growing themselves, growing a millimeter every 1,000 years or less than that. So it's not a very, it's not a resource that will be able to continue being produced during our lifetime. So what we have out there is all that we could mine. So there's also kind of that balance there of, okay.
So it's not renewable.
Zoom video?
Exactly, it's not renewable, no.
Thank you.
So
Ooh, we haven't had a fish in a while.
it sounds like the kind of the ecological diversity in the ocean with fish stocks and stuff. It sounds like it's a bit more of a renewable resource if it's managed
Go on.
properly. Is that accurate to say?
Can you repeat that?
I would say definitely, yeah. I mean, that's one of the problems in the world of fisheries management is they're not well managed in some countries and they're overfished, right?
Yeah.
And some of these countries rely on fish for food as the primary source.
Reach nav, step again, please.
Zoom video? Okay, go on.
Well, I do like a nice tasty fish, so the idea of not having them around is sad.
Although I do like fish as well. I like them more when we see them wild rather than when we see them on the meal.
I would love to see something like those halibut again. They're just these giant lurking creatures.
For sure.
Do you feel like when you back down, the vehicle actually pops up a little? Or is that my imagination? I find myself always giving myself a little vert down whenever I back up, and maybe I just made that up.
When you back off.
When I back up,
Yeah.
I always give myself a little vert down, and I'm wondering if I just made that up.
Maybe. I think if you back up quickly, it lifts the front a bit, I think. So.
Oh, okay. So it should dive down. Interesting. Okay, zoom video. We need your
Reach
head.
nav, step please.
Okay, go wide. And then he turns.
Yeah.
Classic Classic.
Are the units of the oxygen sensor data micromoles per kilogram? Does anybody know?
The top one's percent, and then the saturation should be micromoles per kilogram.
What is a micromole?
Something very tiny.
Very, very tiny.
Well, it's actually a really big number, isn't it, still? Because it's to the 23rd
Well,
for molecules, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you are right.
Well, that's the number of molecules in a mole, right? Or the number of things in a mole, whatever it is you're measuring.
Yeah.
I guess oxygen molecules in this case, right?
Yeah.
Molecules are just very, very small.
Crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it is. Oh, thanks. What? Which one is it?
By the way, we managed to
Yeah, I mean
move
which graph.
farther
I
away
can't
than
read, sorry.
1,000 meters.
We did?
Yeah.
Wow, I guess that last move helped a lot. It was pretty fast.
Crushing
Yeah.
it here today.
Okay.
If I select the
And we found like the biggest
12
Dumbo
PM.
octopus ever.
12 p.m.
Yeah.
when to start,
It was.
it says
So
it's
did you figure out
the
how
target
big it was while the
distance
lasers
is-
were on? Like
It says the
50
minimum
centimeters or
zone's
wanna
like
turn
at
them back
400
on.
meters.
I know.
Oh,
And
somebody
that's
has to look at
about
it
when we're
after
going to
the
end our
fast.
dive. But
It was
It's like-
really big. 50
like-
centimeters?
I'm not sure. I think there's
In
it's
length?
a thick,
A meter
it's
in
a
length?
thick
It's
zone,
over
so
a meter when it's like all spread out.
Yeah, he
When
did
it's-
a lot of, it's really hard to tell because he like did a lot of
Yeah,
stretching.
when he does like the long version, it's like a meter and a half,
the
2 meters or something.
long version.
Yeah. Stand up.
He's sitting or standing. He was ginormous.
It seemed old. It's all ready on the bottom.
Oh, was he?
Oh, look at that big guy.
Yeah.
We
the
do a
tall
zoom
one.
on that.
Yeah. We sure can.
Do you want to put another step or do you want to stop for looking at it?
I think we're good. I think you can keep doing what you're doing. This will just be a quick
Yeah,
one.
it's just soft
Reach
little
nav,
slope.
step
anyway.
please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Video, give me a zoom.
And now science will say, oh, why don't we sample these?
Oh yeah.
What do you guys
I
think?
was
No,
just
I think
thinking
we've
about it.
Oh, were you really?
Were you?
No, that's okay. We've seen this guy before.
I mean, we can stop the ship if you want. Like, I was just kidding. There's no problem with stopping.
Yeah, let's grab a snip while we're here.
Okay.
Reach nav, hold position,
I
please.
know Alexis was interested in
Okay. Go
getting
wide.
some bamboos.
Coming out.
You
If
might-
we-
do we want to? Are we going
Yeah.
to need to move the ship back to do this?
Yeah, I think.
This might be a whole. This might be the other watch.
We don't,
Maybe we should save some fun for them.
we don't do those things down. Bridge nav, can we step 20 meters to 110 degrees bearing, please?
Sorry, Gabby. I was trying to get
20
you one
meters.
more.
I know. I
20
know. You
degrees
were. I
screen.
appreciate that so much.
You have 10 minutes.
You can do it.
Might be able to.
Speed sample.
It's been done before.
Yeah, go get set up there anyway.
Okay. The Dumbo really took a big chunk out of our time, but he was
Yeah,
worth
so I'm
it.
trying to
Yeah,
move
worth it.
20 meters back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that should put us in a good position for everything.
Yep.
And you can, any snip that looks easy to grab is fine.
He's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Like I'm still 3 meters up.
Yep.
But you might have to float for
You
that.
might have
Yeah.
To fly while
go on the other side. And
What?
Oh,
Oh
sit
my
on the
God.
rock.
other side of the rock. or
How many
something.
moles per mole?
How many moles of what?
Never mind.
We want 5 moles of this bamboo coral, please.
Okay.
I don't know how to think in moles, so I'm not sure if that's a ridiculous tiny amount
That'd
or.
be a really
No.
tiny amount.
No, so we're chatting with Michael Bennett on shore, who said 1 mole is 6.234 times 10 to the 23rd.
Which is Avogadro's number.
Oops, 6.02 molecules.
It's giving me weird flashbacks to chemistry class.
Yeah, that sounds like high school chem to me.
Oh, hey,
This
fish.
is a very weird spot to sample from.
So look down so you can see your porch and see if you can toe in on that rock somewhere.
Yeah, I can see his base in, or I could see his base in bubble for a second there, and that was quite nice. Yeah, there's his base in bubble, so that's actually going to work quite well.
Sam, what are
There
you
you
calling
go.
this coral?
It's a bamboo. It's different morphology, but than the whips we've been seeing, but I'm not sure what species.
Might just, is that them?
While we have time, Science, do you want a zoom in on any of this?
Yeah, we could do a polyp zoom if that's okay with the pilots.
Is that okay with you guys? Okay.
Are those polyps all just closed up?
Yep. Nick, this is what I call a polyp zoom. Nice.
I'm here for you.
It's beautiful.
Oh, we got the camera all the way over.
You can go back wide whenever you want.
You got the ship coming back, Albert, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
How are we looking?
It started because like it,
Yeah.
it had an overshoot because we were like going almost 0.5 knots. So
Yeah.
until it
Yeah,
stopped.
because Argus can't come down too much. Video, you can go wide.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. How stretched out are we, Mike?
We're okay. You're all right.
This is going to be 024.
Video is going to go ahead and do a watch change.
Hey, folks.
Oh, hey. I was going to give this sample to you guys. I got a lot. Do you want it? Yep. We had some sweet samples on this one, so.
Hey everyone, this is Brandon Rodriguez, the Science Communication Fellow. We just got a shift change going on here and we'll be back with you really soon.
Yeah, Albert says he wants to go the whole watch, or the whole dive.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't been on a watch with Jess for like I've been on a watch with Jess only my first year that we were here, like 3 years ago, I think it was. We haven't been on the same watch ever since. Oh, there.
All right, Science, while you guys are changing out, I can take the sample for you.
Yeah, they went 10 to 15
Yeah,
centimeters.
that would be great. Any snip that looks easiest
If
to
you
grab
hold 1
is
second,
fine.
I'm going to swap over to Megan real quick.
Roger. So do you guys want me to hold off while you guys swap out, so before I take the sample?
I think you can start sampling if you're ready.
All right, so you said
Oh,
any...
sorry, Megan. All right, never mind. Hold on.
Roger, holding on. Yeah, proceed at a 45 degree, I believe. Is that 40? Roger. Yeah. Argus kind of jumpy around there, huh? I can't really see where he's at too well, but... It's too hot. All right, Megan, when you're all set over there, let me know when I'm all clear to take the sample.
Jess, were you just asking me something?
Yeah, I heard a standby on taking the sample until you guys are all situated back
Oh,
there.
okay, yeah. Give me just 1 second.
Roger.
Would now be a bad time for a DVL reset, or?
No, you're good.
All right, yeah, we can go ahead. The forward box, A or B, would work.
All right.
A has a rock, but you can put it on top.
Forward up box, A or B. Roger. And just the top 15 centimeters, I heard?
Yeah, is that right, Alexis?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, that sounds good.
All right, Video, you want to go ahead and push in there a bit, please?
Jess, I can barely hear you.
Oh, yeah. Video, can you push in a bit, please?
Marley?
Maybe Marley's off.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yep. Can you hear me?
Apparently not.
It's like the Sprint commercial. You hear me now?
Are you off?
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, would you go ahead and push in there a little bit, please? Right there's great. That's good, Marley. Yeah, that's great, Marley. You want to come a little bit wide? We'll just frame it up with the arm a bit. Go ahead and come a little more wide.
I can't hear Jess at all.
No? Roger. A little bit more wide, please. That's perfect. That's good, Marley.
Good?
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you. All right, so we're just looking for 1 wisp, 2 wisps. How
One
many
is
hairs?
fine.
All right. Well, let's see what we can get. Might get you 2. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's great.
Let's see if I can get.
Nice.
Is that too much, or you
Yeah, you
want?
can come up a little bit.
Roger. Let's see if we can get this better angle. So you have one threaded through my claw there. Oh my gosh.
It's super friable.
Oh.
There you go.
Come on, get further in the jaw.
Rotate the jaw the other direction.
Yeah, maybe.
Keep rotating. Okay.
Looks like that's good. There we go.
All right. So you've got some. There's some that are going to just break free as you take it. And there you go.
Nice.
Nice.
Little bouquet. Okay, video, you want to come a little wide there and I'll frame it up for you. That's great.
Science, where are we putting this?
We're doing the forward toolbox there. Go ahead and push it on the sample. We'll get a image of it before we stow it. That's great. Let me know when you got your pictures or
Yeah, we're all
signs.
set. Looks good.
Roger. Go ahead and come wide, please. Full wide. So either A or B, or rather, Roger.
Yeah, either one is good. A has a rock, but you can go ahead and put it on top of that.
All right, so that's the rightmost compartment then?
It's the port side left.
Port side left, Roger. So it came up a little bit there. All right, Greg, you want to go ahead and pop her out?
Sure. Tool out.
Data, is this
I'll
sample
look down at
024?
Yeah, it's already.
Roger.
Bubble real quick just to make sure that we're clear there. And we are.
Nice call.
Look at that pretty rock.
Okay, let's try dropping it here, maybe.
Come up on your shoulder just a little bit.
Sorry?
Come up on your shoulder just a little bit.
Are you thinking of this? Put her in orientation, you think?
No, it was just to try and get those other two so that they were more in the box before you dropped it.
Sure.
So that way they're kind of hanging straight down.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll go like this. Just roll them in there.
Yep. All right.
Nicely done.
Great. Thanks,
Nice.
Jess.
Yeah, no worries.
Jess, are
That was
you
fun.
off auto deck? Can I just?
Yeah, I'm off of auto XI right now. You are all clear to
Great, thank you.
do some resets if you need.
No, I cannot. All right, hold on.
It's kind of, yeah, it's hard to hear you, Marley. No, you're good. Hmm.
All right, our team jumped right into the action today.
Yeah, right? We came in and it was initially like super serious.
Was that you
Get
zooming over there?
It's funny, yeah, when that
Oh,
happens.
nice. Very nice zoom
Somebody
action.
does all the work to set it up, and then the pilot switch out, yeah, do a quick grab.
All right.
Sorry, I'm gonna reset once more.
You're good.
And
Yeah, once.
I'm gonna put in a shipment.
Yeah, yeah.
Great,
Once you're done with the reset, it's all good.
It's all set.
And so what have they been doing? They've been doing ship moves of 20. What's this terrain look like?
The terrain, it's just
Pretty flat?
Yeah, but a pretty steady slope all the way up to this next waypoint.
Roger.
Yeah, let me get them. Yeah.
Do you mind if I grab back the porch there when you get a chance? Thank you. Looks like we got a wrap in the tether here too. Ben, you want to go on SPL? I think they're requesting
yeah.
you.
Mode, right? So I gotta get Ed to.
Sorry, Data Lab's talking to me. Hello? Yeah. Yep, I was
That's a new one. Yeah, our wrap's all good now. All right, up we go. We got here 0.8 joy gain, roger. That's just temptation right there in the form of a box.
Oh man, so mean. That's what I get for being generous, you know?
Greg, would you mind coming out to 040?
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, so we have about 800 meters.
You're still going to have to poke out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Right underneath you right now,
Yep.
probably.
I can see your lasers.
Oh yeah, nice.
Team, are we all situated and live? I know we're having some audio issues.
We're good back here in the back row.
I think,
Cool.
yeah, we're good.
Awesome. We have a couple requests coming in just as we were changing about what it was that we were hoping to gain by the coral sample that we picked or sampling in general down here. Could we kind of get a quick mission rundown for anyone just dialing in?
Sure, yeah, so we are generally sampling biology, for the most part corals and sponges while we're down here.
And then geology also. The biology samples are collected mostly as essentially vouchers, so we don't get to come down to these parts of the Pacific very often, so bringing a sample back means that we can confirm what species it is, both using the morphology, so like what it looks like, as well as genetics. So the genetics is like we have to take a DNA sample of it, and that's where you have to have a physical sample in hand to do that. And some of the morphology actually requires having it in hand too, because you're looking at like microscopic parts of the animal. And so that way we can have full IDs of what we're seeing, and we can, having at least one sample for each type can then let us confirm the other ones as we see them with video. And the geology samples are used mostly for age dating of the seamount. So if we take a rock, we can age that rock and figure out how old the seamount is, or the island, really. We're on an island right now.
It's crazy.
And then there's also, you can look at the minerals that are within the rock. So we talked about, some of the other watches have talked about the manganese crusts that form on top of the basalt that's underneath us, and bringing those rocks up to the surface let you really figure out what minerals are within those crusts.
Hey, video.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, yes, I
Oh,
can
yeah.
hear you. Awesome. Lovely. Let's go.
And Alexis was just talking about some of the kind of the scientific perspective of what we're doing down here. But this is Holly, and I can probably speak a little bit to sort of the broader goals, at least for us. So I'm with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and right now we're exploring an area inside Baker Island National Wildlife Refuge, which is a part of the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monuments, which is one of the largest protected marine areas in the world. So we're actually, despite the fact that we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, we're actually in U.S. territorial waters right now. And it's an area that we know really very, very little about. So we're in places that have only been just sort of vaguely mapped. One of the things we're doing is getting much, much better maps of this area, but also getting sort of baseline conditions for what is the marine ecosystem out here like. So we're going to be, we're kind of following this track that started, well outside of the island and sort of slowly moving upslope closer and closer to the island. And Baker Island itself is a really important seabird colony.
What's the floaty thing?
I see a floating thing. Hold on, let's see what the floaty thing is.
It's a fish.
Roger.
Hey, fishy.
Hey, bird. Coming up. Go ahead and do a zoom in there video.
Maybe a little.
Pancake batfish?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Paco.
It looks like a batfish. Oh, man.
It does look like a little batfish.
Kind of sailing there, isn't he?
Oh my gosh. He has his little fins out in the back.
Hey.
Wow, it's almost translucent, right?
It is. No, it really is.
Yeah.
It's a cutie.
All right, go ahead and come right there.
That's the
He's like slurp size. Just saying.
Slurpable.
We are not slurping that fish.
Could always use a new pet.
Paco 2.
Paco 2.
That's right.
Is there a story behind Paco 1?
It's a new pancake batfish we found in the Galapagos.
Oh, cool.
Our lead scientist at the time was very excited about it and wanted to start a new campaign about Paco.
Did you guys collect one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
so another...
Slurped.
How did you, and it came up to the surface, like not?
Video,
Yeah.
go ahead and push in here a bit, please.
Okay. Another fish.
Hey.
Rat tail.
Yeah, it looks like a rat tail.
That's great, yeah.
Oh, these guys.
Hovering
Actually,
over a
we're just
holographic.
coming on to watch. So what depth are we at? 1,500, 51 meters?
51, yeah.
Yeah, he was just hanging out over his sea cucumber friend.
What? Here, I was going to say predation event.
He looks protective here.
Yeah, I feel like they've got an agreement.
Right.
Yeah, hide from the big yellow
Shade
thing.
me, yeah.
All right, go ahead and come wind the video. I'll get moving on here. Coming up a bit here. Woohoo. Supersonic speed, yeah.
With the zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool seeing these things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so-
watch before us had a really big cephalopod.
Oh, I know. I was a little jealous.
Just
I'm
means
sure
we'll
we'll
see
get it.
something cool too, guys.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is cool because we're seeing completely new places.
That's why we have the biology enthusiasts in here too.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like we need
She's
a
a
science
science
enthusiast
enthusiast.
on every
I
watch.
apologize, yeah.
Science enthusiast. That's me.
I dig it. That's great.
You know, when you have like watch after watch of just sediment,
Mm.
it gets boring.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs a science enthusiast. I think
Just in their life?
Just in their life, yeah.
Yeah.
The world would be a better place if
I
we all
mean,
had
it's
our own
true.
science enthusiast.
I feel like we have a
Coming
lot
up
of
a bit here.
science enthusiasts watching right now. So
Yeah.
There's a purple guy there.
Purple guy. Oh, a different sea cucumber. Yeah, there's a couple of them.
What do you want to bet they didn't do numbers?
I
What's that?
don't even want to bet. I think we both know the answer to that one.
So although we are looking right now at 1,540 meters under the ocean, from the Nautilus itself up on the surface, we can actually see Baker Island. We're close enough to the island itself to see it. So one of the cool things is that we've been sailing for days and days and days and almost never seeing any sort of surface life, except for a couple of like migrating or far foraging seabirds, and then
And some flying fish.
and some flying
There we
fish.
go.
we
Oh,
saw
and I
some.
saw a shark at the surface. so
Actually,
Nice.
yeah.
did someone else say something?
Marlene,
Yeah.
she said that she saw 3 sharks yesterday.
Wow.
So seeing some life, but this morning we come up and there's just like groups of like brown boobies
Birds.
and masked boobies. Yeah, birds of different types. So brown boobies, masked boobies,
I'm
mostly,
doing 40 meters.
which are some of the main colonies
I
that,
can hold
that
on.
use Baker
All
Island
right.
out here.
That's so cool. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
one that was perched on the crane as
Yeah.
we launched the ROV.
Yeah, there was a
So is that
juvenile
this
brown
morning?
booby.
Because neither Jess nor I noticed this.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Where was
There-
it perched on this crane?
It was right on the top of the crane as you were putting Hercules into the water.
So that's why
Oh,
I never
that's
look
why.
up there.
Yeah. He was just surveying the entire operations, and as soon as Herc hit the water, he took off.
He's
They
like,
took off.
Well
It
done.
was a juvenile.
He looked,
juvenile
looked
brown
very
booby.
approving of the job you guys did, though.
Oh, he was. Yeah, they were.
It's nice to have the tables turned on when the wildlife judges us for once.
I feel like most of the wildlife that we see down here is definitely judging us.
Yeah, we're not very hydrodynamic down here.
Yeah,
so it's
they're
kinda
like, what is that clunky thing?
How do they move through the water?
Oh, and the sound is terrible.
Yeah, I bet.
It's
probably-
not as bad as Argus. Argus sounds worse, in my opinion.
really? You think so?
Argus has like a dead whale sound, or like dying whale. It's really like, I've heard those thrusters in the water before, not specifically on Argus, but those same thrusters, and it was just like, it hurt. All right, Megan, so as the only geologist in the room, what are we looking at?
Tell us some things.
So we are looking at basalt lava flows that are encrusted in manganese, and some of the little kind of bulbous micro kind of textures
up
that
some
we
more.
were seeing on some
Yep,
of the
one coming up
rocks
still.
look maybe like little manganese nodules, perhaps. But a lot of the morphologies we've been seeing are pillows. We have seen some pillow tubes, and some sheet flows on the last dive. I haven't seen the last several hours of this dive, so I'm not sure what else they've been seeing around here. But yeah, it's pretty classic morphologies. pillow lavas are the most common lava morphology on the planet.
Really?
So I feel like we just made an assumption as you're talking
All right, I'm
about
going to steal bubble.
Roger, go ahead.
pillow lavas, and that is that Baker Island and this entire seamount, like, it's not really a seamount, this entire island itself is like an ancient volcano.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
So Megan, I have a question. We believe that these seamounts are from the Cretaceous period, roughly 70 million years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. 70 to 74, I think, is what they think for these seamounts.
And with the rock samples we've been collecting, we're trying to kind of confirm that age, right? That's one of the reasons we're collecting rocks.
That's my understanding.
Numbers look good.
I think it's not just about the age. I mean, that's a pretty wide range, so I think they want to understand what some of the freshest material was aged as, so some of the stuff on top, not just the very beginning of these seamounts, and understanding the more about the encrusting manganese and minerals within the rocks in this region, and the prime crust area throughout the Pacific that we're kind of exploring in.
Going up.
It's a pretty decent wall.
Yeah.
Should we go around and maybe do some intros since we have a new shift? And I know all of us have been working together for a little bit now, but maybe we could like share like what our
right here.
our specialty
There you
is,
go,
like
guys.
what our background
There you go.
is.
Hi.
Oh,
nice. Oh,
You see the octopus?
See him in Argus too, if you guys really heard.
The excitement for a crinoid versus a Dumbo.
I was like, ooh, a crinoid.
Sorry,
I like them.
Alexis.
Dumbo. This is my first Dumbo octopus
Live
in the
van.
live in the van, not like as a home viewer. The science enthusiast is very enthused.
Oh my god.
It's a pretty decent sized one too.
It is.
Bringing life to the van.
All right, video, go ahead and push on in there, please.
Let's take a quick. It's a much different color than what they saw earlier. That's why I was wondering. I think, Greg, you said that the one they were filming earlier might have been
Vampire squid.
something other than a Dumbo, yeah.
Yeah, vampire squids can have like the similar kind of flapping ear things.
Fins.
Yeah, but they look like ears.
Yeah, I know.
You can see that the on the legs, the tentacles, it's different texture underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like
Very
the
different
vampire
look.
squids have like hooks.
Yeah.
And Tim back at on Rhode Island had suggested as well that that was possibly vampire squid.
Okay.
Do cephalopods sleep? Do we know?
Everybody sleeps.
Everything sleeps?
No.
I mean, it feels like
seems
most
like it
things
could.
sleep,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I think sleep maybe is just defined a little bit differently, like how it's. I don't know. Sleeping might be different. Like fish, it's not like they're gonna like stop. Like they're just kind of gonna drift, right? But I'm not sure about Dumbos.
Birds, some birds will sleep as they're flying. So like
Yeah.
albatross, which will stay aloft for days, years, will do like
Alright,
micro
video, go ahead and come
sleeps
wide,
as they're flying. They like
go
literally
ahead and
shut
come wide,
down,
please.
not just parts, but they're actually recent research is showing that they'll shut down their whole brain for like in these little microbursts while they're gliding.
Coming up.
That's crazy.
Right?
That is crazy. I think it's similar for like sharks, right? They don't actually stop swimming.
Yeah,
Another
exactly.
like squishy thing over to the right.
Yeah, we have squishy number 2.
Oh, sorry guys, I stayed
It's
too
okay.
long on
Yeah,
that,
keep-
so
Oh yeah, we got a lot of squishy things in the ocean.
Oh,
More
more
squishies.
yeah, hold off one quick second here. I'm just gonna get up above this wall, and then we can call it. Nice vertical feature.
Yeah,
And Greg's
this is
looking
cool.
straight down.
Our viewers are less than impressed about microbursts of fading out to sleep, as many of them say they can do the same thing. They're 9 to 5.
But can they do it while flying?
Or swimming?
Yeah.
There's a fair point.
We clearly have fish people in the audience in the hashtag birds versus fish debate. It's okay.
Is there an ongoing hashtag fish versus birds debate?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a big thing on Twitter.
Really?
Birds v. fish.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a whole thing, guys.
I'm gonna be in a Twitter hole later today.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so out of touch with the modern world.
I guess it's a little bit like biased on Twitter being a bird.
You would be surprised. The fish
No,
biologists
it's like, isn't it all about like tweeting stuff? Isn't it like?
Well, I think also part of it is just until phones become more waterproof, the fish are not going to win.
Yeah, it's a sampling error problem.
Really got Holly going.
Yeah. Really like that one. It's pretty easy though. I'm like easily delighted. I mean, that was a good
have
joke.
you on
too,
watch
though.
then.
You gotta get like some other platform called like Bubbler.
That's a dating app.
Isn't that what? That's what they call water fountains in the Midwest.
Okay.
It's true.
It's
What,
true.
does LaCroix come out of them?
Hilarious.
This is a thing. This is a thing.
Drink some LaCroix out of your bubbler.
I'm married into a Midwestern family. Shout out to you, Aaron. And the first time I went out to visit her family, like everyone was talking. Like not because not a
Everyone
common
was
topic.
talking about the bubbler.
The conversation was not the bubbler, but it did come up, and I was like, "What is a bubbler?" And they're like, "It's a what? It's a bubbler." What are you talking about? The bubbler's a bubbler. It's a water fountain.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole. I would say it's a complete water fountain.
Oh, there's a coral right there with the sea star at the base of it.
Oh yeah, you guys want to take a look?
Yes, please.
Definitely.
What we might have is Greg's predation event.
Uh-oh, Greg.
It's probably going on right now.
Yeah.
It's not my predation event. I'm happy to share it with everyone.
Predation events are copyright by Greg.
All right, video, go ahead and zoom in there, please.
Get a cease and desist letter from me.
All filming of animals predating other animals.
There's a lot going on here.
Indeed. That's great, their video.
Yeah, it looks like a
Ooh.
type of primnoid octocoral, so maybe a Narella genus. And that sea star is just recently, looks like, made its way and is starting up the stalk.
Yep. Come back in a couple of years.
Come back in a couple of years and it will be a very fat sea star.
They're just hugging.
And a very bare coral skeleton.
So the sea star is actually going to be like predating the coral itself, or
Right.
going up for the echinoderm there?
For the coral.
Okay.
So there's
The echinoderm's actually stuck up in the coral, and the sea star is just trying to help his buddy.
Oh.
I'm coming for you.
Like the cat and tree, I think.
No,
right?
the sea star will stick his stomach on the
Yeah.
coral and digest it.
Is it just sucking
Bit
the
at a time.
life out of it?
No, it like Greg said, it emits its stomach and like essentially stomach acid, and it just breaks down the coral tissue and eats the tissue.
As Megan said, it's kind of like hugging, but it's hugging with your stomach.
With your stomach.
That's how that works?
Yeah, you just kind of like stick your stomach out your mouth and hug something.
Everybody shows love in different ways.
All right, video, go ahead, come on. On that note. When's Valentine's Day? I think that would make a beautiful Valentine's Day card.
What's that saying? The way to your heart is through your stomach?